Hi there, it's Xanthe. I'm going to talk about a word called, often called stimming. Can refer to fidgeting. It stands for self-stimulatory behaviour. It's usually a word used associated with autism, but other people fidget a lot, do repetitive sensory motor activities as well, including myself. I've been diagnosed with bipolar, PTSD, social anxiety disorder. I also have heard of people with ADHD say that they do this, so it's not just autism. There's also tics. I do tics as well. I see the difference between, for me anyway, stimming and tics is that the tics I find involuntary. Like one of the tics I do is actually blink quite hard, but then other people say that's stimming. But I've known I've done this since a child because I've had it pointed out as a child. I can't help it. Whereas the stimming, I can become aware of it if someone points it out, or if I observe myself, for instance looking on the camera, and I can suppress it or redirect it into something else. So for me it's just a lot of energy that I need to get out and express. In the DSM Statistical Manual, a psychiatrist and psychologists use, they refer to psychomotor agitation with bipolar and some other conditions, and they say that it serves no purpose. It's just things like pacing and talking fast and moving around constantly. I actually think it does serve a purpose. If I were to try and stop it, and this is actually what's happened to me, is I've actually had the energy build up so much that I've actually, to do with my trauma as well, I've actually had seizures, and then what happened is my whole body shook out all of that energy, and so it's kind of, I feel that it does have a purpose. I do notice that I do it more. My mood is elevated. My mood is currently a bit elevated at the moment, and like me, that I'm just fiddling, for example, here. Other ways that I do it, I can do it discreetly sometimes. Off the camera I might just be rubbing my page. What it's doing for me is it's helping me to speak, because my mind tends to dissociate and sort of go. So that's why I say a lot, is because I'm, there we go again, it's probably sort of like a repetitive thing, but I'm trying to fight to stay present, to talk to you. So doing the fiddling, whether it's rubbing the page, when I look back at myself I flick the page, I rub my hand through my hair a lot. I find it quite soothing because my hair is smooth and I don't like product in it because I don't like the feeling of product, and it's a bit like stroking a cat, sort of, sorry if I'm not being very clear here, but everyone stims in some way. Like some people chew gum, some people smoke, people might chew on the end of a pencil, tap their fingers, but people with certain conditions such as autism, ADHD, PTSD, bipolar might do it a lot more, and we might do things that look a bit different. Can be probably a little bit distracting at times for other people, but it can find other ways to direct it. I'm actually having trouble if I'm trying to stay still to speak, so it's kind of better that I fidget. So So one reason I do it is it helps ground me to the present so I can speak. It also helps me listen. I got told off in a workplace once because during a meeting I was doodling on paper, and I got told off and said, "You're not listening to us, you're just doodling." And I said, the doodling actually helps me listen to you. So, but they didn't understand that. So that was a bit annoying. I get a lot of energy when my mood gets elevated, and also when I'm anxious. So I can get anxious, increased anxiety with mood episodes, whether it's up or down, so mania or depression. So it's kind of really helpful for me to discharge some of that energy by going for really brisk walks. And what I quite like to do is kind of like dance walk. So I listen to music that fits my mood on repeat, which is again a stim because it's like a repetitive sensory thing. And what I do is I kind of, move my hands or kind of dance along, and I kind of, when I'm my mood is elevated, I kind of overrides my social anxiety, so I don't care what people think, and it feels really good. Like, it just feels so nice, the warmth of the sun and just moving around and expressing myself. So that's another reason, is it's a form of self-expression, especially if I direct it into something like doing art. I've done lots of different styles of art depending on my mood, because sometimes I can't feel my feelings, so expressing it into something. I'm a visual person, so sometimes I put my hand in the paint, sometimes I'll just get a knife and cut the paint, so I don't self-harm myself, I don't cut myself, but I have used a knife to cut the paint, the wet paint. And while I'm doing it, it's helped me process stuff as well. So trauma, because I tend to shut down things, and can be self-soothing. Like one time when I was hospitalised, I was just rocking, and the rocking was trying to soothe myself. Probably goes back to babies being rocked, perhaps, I don't know, it's just something instinctive. I mean, people rock in their rocking chairs. It can help me to relax when my mind is racing, so kind of can put me like in a trance-like state. So often when I do the painting, I go into like a trance, and then I stop feeling that terrible anxiety and everything, and sort of get lost for hours in it. And yeah, it feels quite spiritual. It feels really relaxing as a break from all of that anxious stress. And what else? Yeah, so it helps me to relax, especially lately. My mood has been going like this, so I've been feeling quite burnt out at times, and then I'll be elevated, and then burnt out and elevated. So it's kind of like a difficult time to get through, but because I am managing it by getting enough sleep and etc. From medications and self-care, yeah, I'm apparently doing okay, so even though it's a bit uncomfortable. So I'm just been fiddling with this pen. Yeah, so stimming is like a fidgeting, whatever you want to call it. It's just like repetitive motions. If I'm just doing this now, to do with movement and all your senses, so taste, smell, sight, hearing, touch. When my mood is elevated, I can become quite sensory seeking, so most of the time I find, for example, perfume really annoying. Like, I mean, if someone's wearing it, they may as well be wearing eau de compost, and it's kind of become very sensitive to smell. But when I'm manic, I don't normally wear perfume, but I have gone out and sniffed like heaps of perfumes and got no, yuck, yuck, yuck. And then picked a few that I liked, and it's quite interesting because I probably picked them partly on their names, because one was called Euphoria and another one was called Seduction. So looking back now, they're actually kind of appropriate names for bipolar mania. I notice when I look back on videos of myself, I squeeze my hands a lot, play with my hair. Touching my glasses is more of a tic. I can't help that one. That's an anxiety one for me, and it's also because if I feel a slight shift, I don't like it. It just, yeah. So that one's. So I find the tic is more. What I see as a tic is more involuntary. I mean, some people have the tic very severely, so they might have a tic disorder. My tics are pretty mild. I like to express myself when I'm on my own and not annoying other people and driving them up the wall, but I like to sing. And it might be just humming some tune, some little tune I've made up over and over and over and over and over, like in the shower or in the car. Or I might tap, and it might be some sort of body percussion, or kind of like, pretending I'm playing the drums. Or when I played piano, I used to, sort of pretend I was playing, playing the notes, the patterns, like textures, like a warm sand flowing through my hand. I would see bits of glass in the water, and they were all worn down on the sides by the sand, and I would, like, when I was manic, it was like, ooh, I want to go and find all those, pluck them away. It's the stuff I did as a child, so it does feel quite childlike. It feels like just the kind of things that, well, I used to do as a child anyway, like, look at the clouds or stare at a bit of glass or blow through a piece of grass to make a sound, that kind of thing. So anyway, when I was manic, I went into the lake and pulled out all these bits of glass, and it was quite funny because I talked to an artist and she said that she did exactly the same thing. So we thought that was kind of amusing. And so she's very visual, so she would see, oh, look at that shell, oh, look at that thing. So I'm a bit like that too, very visual for me, mainly. But also needing to move. I need to move all the time. It's quite funny, at school one time, I'm a leg jiggler, and no one really noticed it, I don't think, until one day the teacher said, "It's an earthquake, listen." And then I stopped jiggling my leg and she goes, "It stopped." Apparently I used to, when I used the calculator at school, I used to tap, and the other students pointed it out, so we had a bit of a laugh about it, so I tried to be more quiet using the calculator. What else do I do? Oh yeah, when I was manic, I was in the swimming pool on a sunny day, and I had my sunglasses on because the bright light bothered me, and I was just fixated on all the rainbows that I could see from the refraction of the ripples in the water. So I was just like, ooh, kind of staring at it in my own little world. And then I was fixated on my shadow, and I was just dancing around. People probably thought I was a weirdo, but I just felt, I felt euphoric. Like I felt like I could, with all the ripples of rainbows that I could see in my shadow. So it was like my shadow dancing, and then all the ripples radiating out, and it just felt, it felt like a really amazing experience. So so it's like a little bit of an escape from all the anxiety that I also get when I'm manic and when I'm depressed. What else? I've heard other people say that they do it when they, like some people with ADHD, for example, do it to say that they recover from their shifts in the energy levels as well. There is a lot of overlap with bipolar and ADHD. And what else? Sorry. Yeah, I think I said it discharges the excess energy, but that's when I really need to get quite physical. You know, like the brisk walk. Yeah, I rubbed my feet together. That's one thing I did. I remember my mother said years ago, "What are you thinking right now?" I said, "What do you mean? You're rubbing your feet together?" And I was like, I never noticed I did that before, but now I'm aware that I do it. When I do it, it just feels, yeah, I'm not aware I'm doing it at first, but then I become aware. It's just like a calming, soothing, peaceful feeling. So when I wake up this morning, my feet were rubbing together. It feels nice. It feels like a foot massage. So I remember one time my son was at school and his teacher punished him for fidgeting with a ruler, just like this. And I went to the teacher and I said, "He's not being really distracting. He's doing something quite subtle, and you punishing him for that is just absolutely ridiculous, and you can't expect children to sit absolutely still at all times." So anyway, that's why I gave him a piece of my mind. And yeah, I think that it's hard for some adults to sit still at times. Like I can do it quite subtly in public. I might do something more subtle, like just sort of rub my finger like that, or just kind of like that. I can even do it in my pocket, you know, and it might just be shifting my weight back and forth subtly. But when I'm hypomanic, I don't care about the dancing. I just do my dancing. It's just my form of exercise, my form of self-expression. It makes me feel really good. And what else? Yeah, I just scribbled some notes this morning. So yeah, I tend to scribble in without pen when my mood is up, whereas otherwise I tend to write in a biro. So I like when my mood is elevated, I actually can like scented ink. I don't have any at the moment. I haven't managed to find any, but I did have some that I bought. It just reminds me of childhood, because that's the type of thing I used to do as a kid. Things that we used to do as kids, like we used to just get a ball and have something on an angle and throw the tennis ball back and forth, bang, 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 over and over, or a basketball going through the hoop over and over. I mean, I think that's stimming as well. I think that these days they don't seem to give outlets for children to discharge some energy physically and also expressively. So whether music, like playing the drums or some other instrument, or doing art, it can be real hands-on sculpture type art. And I think that, yeah, it's a whole other topic really, but I think that schools, yeah, really are lacking in those areas and not seeing the value of mental health on those sorts of things. And also I find that when I do get into painting, it's like a meditation. It's sort of helps me calm myself. If I'm having a panic attack, I actually use controlled breathing, which I learned from having a few singing lessons. And so using a diaphragm breathing, slowing down the out breath. But what also helps me is to do a hum. So some people do use that to go into like a trance type thing. Like if I'm really anxious, for example, I'm trying to have a relaxing bath, but my brain is going racy, 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 race. What I tend to do is hum or sing, and so it's quite interesting because when I just go and hold out long notes and experiment with high, low and middle sounds and just hold out the long notes. What it's doing is it's making me breathe better. But the other thing is I'm quite fascinated by the resonating of the sound going around the bathtub. So that's like another stim. And the other thing is too is sometimes I feel when my mood is elevated, the vibrations as well. I can feel the vibration going down my body all the way to my toes and my fingers. So that feels good. And then sometimes I'll do quite childish things like blow bubbles in the bath. And if I, a while back I went to the swimming pool and I just go under the water, you know, that kind of thing. So it's kind of just can be like a form of play, but people were expected to grow up and